Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video. And if you're new to my channel, I create daily breakthrough videos for you to learn powerful tools to really upgrade your life and your relationships. This entire channel really encompasses the subconscious mind, which is an absolute necessity when it comes to creating real change and real transformation. And this is largely because the conscious mind cannot outwill or overpower the subconscious mind. So if you want new daily breakthrough videos that help you create real transformation in your life, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. We do, live webinars every so often and lots of videos coming out all the time for you. So, what triggers anxious attachment? In this video, we're really going to do a deep dive into covering the 7 top patterns that tend to trigger anxious attachment. And we'll go through each one and give some different examples so you can really see. So first and foremost, a change in the pattern. So oftentimes if there's a relationship dynamic and, let's say you're used to texting every 4 hours and then all of a sudden you don't text for 8 hours and you have a really busy day at work, that can really trigger somebody's anxious attachment style to kick into gear because there's a shift in the pattern. And anxious preoccupied attachment style individuals are very hypervigilant when it comes to noticing changes or shifts in the patterns. Like any discrepancy can be a big triggering feature for anxious preoccupied individuals. And if you want to do a deep dive into really reprogramming your attachment style, we have courses specifically for this inside the Personal Development School. And at this time, we're offering a 7-day free trial. So you can click the link in the description box below. If you want to do a lot of subconscious reprogramming for your attachment style so that you can release those patterns of anxiety, distress, frustration, the feeling like you need to be clingy to hang on to a relationship, and you can feel confident and comfortable and safe being alone and really confident and comfortable and safe in your relationships. Pattern number 2, incongruencies. So any incongruencies between what you say and what you do. So let's say, for example, you say, I love and care about you so much, I would do anything for you. And then let's say later, your anxious preoccupied partner says, hey, will you take out the trash? And you're like, not feeling it right now. In that situation, that incongruency is very triggering because so much of trust is based on incongruency. And while anxious preoccupied individuals don't tend to have extreme trust issues overall with everything, they do have trust issues when it comes to abandonment. And they tend to see any incongruency as almost like creating like a mark, this is like a tally, this is going towards the potential for being abandoned. There's an incongruency. This means you may abandon me at some point in time. And so it's really important, either to explain incongruencies so that they can make sense, because sometimes we'll have incongruencies simply because we've just changed our mind about something. But the anxious preoccupied individual isn't necessarily receiving that as, oh, you've just changed your mind. They tend to receive it through the filter of their subconscious mind, which has their core wounds as a part of it. And a lot of that will be, oh my gosh, this means, you might be abandoning me at some point. This is a tally on the side of something changing in the relationship, something not lining up, something not being 100% perfect. And that could mean that at some point we are going to disconnect. So that can be a big trigger for anxious preoccupied individuals. Number 3, any type of distancing. This is such an interesting one. This can be like space. So you going away for a trip, you moving further away, perhaps to a different city, but this can also be space, like physical space, sitting on opposite ends of the couch, not hugging or kissing right away when you see one another. Any type of distancing that's taking place, in terms of physical distance, can be really triggering for anxious preoccupied individuals because they feel like, whoa, there's this actual physical space here. And again, any form of distancing tends to really trigger that anxious feeling. Number 4, any potential threat to your bond. So this can be really challenging thing sometimes for relationship dynamics. This can be like you having a really good friend who they're afraid that you might be attracted to. And you may have this long-standing friend for long periods of time, but if that fear is not addressed, then oftentimes you're anxious preoccupied, or if you are the anxious preoccupied person watching this, you'll feel threatened because it's like, oh my goodness, what if that person's bond is stronger than our bond? Well, then that could pose a threat to the potential for abandonment. And then there's the obvious things like being physically attracted to somebody else. But the emotional connection, friendship area can have challenges in there too. And, I might make it just a separate video about how to deal with some of that. So let me know in the comments below if you want to see that and how to approach or address those things and have healthy conversations that lead to effective outcomes in relationships, if that's something that you're seeking to do. Number 5, any lack of approval. Approval to an anxious, preoccupied mind means I am not good enough and I am likely to be rejected. And if that happens, of course, then I will be abandoned. And so those core wounds tend to sort of go hand in hand with one another. And if there's any lack of approval, all of those things are likely to be triggered at once. Number 6, lack of feeling wanted. Sort of goes hand in hand again with lack of approval, but any lack of feeling like you're wanted, cherished, put on a pedestal, appreciated, acknowledged, any lack of feeling wanted and desired in there as well can feel like it's posing a threat, like, whoa, we're becoming disconnected. And sometimes that's not actually what's happening. Sometimes a relationship is just evolving, going from the dating and honeymoon phases into the power struggle phase or into the stability phase, where things tend to just naturally cool off a little bit. But there are important and powerful lessons in those phases of relationships that are needed to move the needle ahead and for you to get into future healthy areas of relationships. Like, to actually get to the commitment stage of relationship, you have to move beyond the power struggle phase. You have to move beyond the stability phase. And there's important life lessons in there for how to connect more deeply as individuals and how to be more open and vulnerable and accept one another's flaws. And if we can't do that because we expect everything to be in like that wanted, desiring honeymoon phase all the time and dating phase, then sometimes the mind can have a tough time accepting that, which actually can stunt the growth of a relationship long term. And then number 7, feeling dismissed. This is a pretty common one, but anything that makes you feel dismissed can trigger core wounds like I am unimportant, I don't matter, I am unseen, I am unheard. And of course, all of those things form, potential barriers or threats to connection, which triggers those abandonment wounds. Now, if you are not already familiar with a lot of this stuff, you can reprogram those wounds. Those are just imprints that took place at the subconscious level because of painful experiences that at some point you were exposed to. All of those things can be reprogrammed and shifted. And if you want to do a deeper dive, we've got attachment style courses for reprogramming your attachment style in the school. We also have attachment style courses all about how you're likely to show up and other attachment styles are likely to show up in each of the 6 stages of relationships. You can check those out again in the 7-day free trial down below. You can just click the link. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know anything that triggers you in the comments below. I would really love to hear about it. And I will see you in the next video tomorrow.